calls for full concentration.
Okay. Ed has stepped out for a moment to go and kill Nausicaans and other things. Sorry about that delay there. Apparently we went off for just a moment, but we're back. Hopefully everybody heard my mess. Of course you didn't, because we were offline. Our last commercial for Movies on Glass are handmade glasses from a company that actually has real licenses from like CBS and other companies to actually make movie-themed glassware. They're on Etsy. They're also accessible at moviesonglass.com. And yeah, I have got to buy those Klingon glasses for beer, because I'm sorry, that looks so cool. If you use the convention code STO-VIR-CON, you get 10% off on your Star Trek purchases during the convention weekend. Yes, we have real vendors. I mean, that's amazing that we actually think of that stuff once in a while. I didn't think of it. They thought of it, because they're really smart, much more than I am. So I wanted to talk about the Year of the Klingon.
Kapla?
Kapla? It's something that's way overdue, in my opinion. Because really,
definitely.
Yeah, Klingon came in when? Year 2? Is that when?
I mean, originally they came in as a pure PvP faction.
Well, they weren't even a faction. They were simply the enemy. You couldn't be a Klingon captain.
Yeah, originally, yeah. Originally it was only Federation, but when they introduced the Klingons, they essentially gave them just the bare bones of the tutorial, so you can get a couple levels. But they essentially moved you to almost the max level, kind of like the Jem'Hadar are now. And then essentially you had no missions to play, because everything that was Klingon content was go to PvP and get bored because no one else plays PvP.
Yeah, PvP is still not something that's done a lot of, so that's really...
Well,
yeah.
PvP requires balancing, and balancing in a game where certain content is locked behind either insane amounts of effort or paywalls. Yeah, balance is an issue.
Yes, it is definitely an issue. Who was it? Lantos plays a lot of PvP and has been more than willing to come on and help us with some PvP builds, because it's something that's fun when you can do it, or at least be doing it decently. But, not everybody does it decently, and then it becomes not fun. And, it's not fun. Then it's not fun. Oops. Am I showing the wrong thing?
You're showing it a little bit too big.
Thank you. Actually, I wanted to show this. I will fix that in just a moment. I didn't mean to be showing that, folks. My apologies. You don't want to see that yet. We'll get it there in just a minute. So, let me jump into here. So when the Klingons first came in, it was just not something you could really play, and yet I think that became a huge demand as people wanted to play Klingon. Yeah, you'd think we just all want to be Federation, but we don't. We want to do other stuff. We want to be the Klingons. We want to be the Vulcans. Well, we could be the Vulcans. But everything we could do, with even the huge range of tunes that we could be, was still Federation, and technically, if you want to think of it this way, we were still the good guys. And that gets boring.
Well, the good guys that go in and shoot and kill everything and come in peace.
Oh, come on. We all shoot and kill everything. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should think about that and add something about disabling if you're on the Federation and killing if you are not.
It would be nice to offer the option for disabling, for not killing, for just changing it up somewhat and having some fun. It would be nice to do a little different setup. And every now and then we run into a mission where it's disable them, don't kill them. That's nice. Can we do that a little bit more? Can we have an option for not blowing them out of the water? Can we have an option for completely bypassing killing them? Could I try, flying around and skipping them? But
yeah, maybe make it so that you can toggle like a threatening stance thing. Mm-hmm. You can toggle it on. But you do a little bit less damage, shoot a little bit slower, but in turn you don't kill them, because you're the good guys.
Yeah, we are the good guys. But what's happening is we've got the Klingons coming up only as the bad guys, only as an enemy, and only as somebody you're going to fight. And people wanted more than that. I personally didn't care. I didn't actually start a Klingon tune for quite a while. She's one of my older tunes, but still, she's still not as developed as my Federation tunes. And it's because when they finally did get around to adding Klingons as a separate faction, they were not underpowered, but under-equipped. And I think they still are to a large degree. And this Year of the Klingon has been argued as trying to bring that more into compliance with where it should be. I
actually disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, they were under-equipped, definitely. But all the builds I'm currently aware of, Disruptor and Phaser builds are the most potent builds currently in the game.
Yes, you can make any build good, and I'm not going to argue that you can make a great Klingon build. I'm just saying that we don't have as many fun toys, and I don't think the story arc was as well developed, especially at the beginning, and this, I'm hoping,
Definitely
helps to balance it a little bit more. So let me read the official thing here from Cryptic. Captains, welcome to the Year of the Klingon, to the Year of Klingon. Over the rest of 2020 and part of 21, we're going to be putting on a major multi-part 24/11 focused Klingon storyline. We can't release the details on what it is just yet, although it's a fair bet that Jaula and her time-traveling cohorts are involved. Sorry, I can't talk yet. But as part of this long-planned, face-of-the-game-changing story, we're taking a little time to focus on our most honorable allies. We love our Klingon content. Who doesn't love a story that involves descending into Grethor and fighting a god, which was darned good? But a lot of it is old, and it doesn't contain the technical improvements we've made to the game over the years. So we're spending time and resources to give these pieces of content visual and gameplay facelifts. Over the next 12 months, maybe more, you'll see the new Klingon character models for some of our classic characters like Jimpak, updated skins for the classic Klingon ships like the Bird of Prey, new environments, and cutscenes to refresh this old but beloved content. Blah, 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 blah. The rest of it, that is their updates. No arguments there, and it definitely needed the update. So if you have not gone back and played the whole arc from the tutorials, Ed and I did. We both created brand new Klingon tunes. Mine is a Gorn named Gornalicious, and I don't know if Captain Cuddles was his new Gorn tune, but we went back and played the whole new arc. And the content is mildly changed in the tutorial. Not significantly, but the graphics are fantastically better. We had done it on an old tune just 2 weeks before, knowing they were going to do this, and made some videos of it just so we could do a comparison. And the voicing has been updated. The graphics definitely updated. Storyline, I think some minor changes. I don't know if there's been any maximum changes to it. It looks like the captain in the original ship that you have to kill seems, at least from the onset, a little bit more. You could see how you could like him and how you could serve with him honorably. And he doesn't come across as the bad guy instantly. But invariably, you do find out that he's a traitor, and you do have to kill him. But it kind of changes the dynamic, so you don't feel like you're an idiot for having signed on with this guy. And you're not dishonorable. Captain Darling, currently I'm running a bunch of tunes, at the moment 16, which I know is nothing compared to some people, because I have my main tunes that I enjoy playing, and then I have my free-to-play account, which started out solely for the purpose of being able to access the Romulan stories, which I know sounds really bad, but it is what it is. I love playing the Romulan arc. We'll talk about that a little bit later when Nick from Cryptic comes on, because I love New Romulus. And he was one of the environmental designers involved in New Rom. But for this Klingon arc, creating a new tune that basically is a throwaway. I like Gornalicious, and when he gets to a certain point, I'm probably going to either put him on, I don't know, duty doing something, but not a tune I'm going to play every day, because honest to goodness, 11 tunes is too much. And they're not all in one fleet, by the way, Captain Darling. They're in, I want to say 7 different fleets, because that way we don't take all the resources. We'll talk about fleets later, because getting all of your tunes in one fleet isn't as much fun as you would think. And running a fleet with a whole bunch of good Armada fleet mates is a lot of fun. But take advantage of the opportunities to create new tunes when they give it to you. So if they tell you with the new Year of Klingon, they're going to give everybody a free captain slot to create a new Klingon, well, do it. If nothing else, you've taken the free slot, and there's usually some perks with it. But I think the biggest thing that I'm curious about, and I don't have an answer, is they started doing this. I know this has been planned for the revamp of Year of Klingon, but did they start it in April when they started it in any part because of, the situation with COVID? Has that been any aspect of it? We're all stuck at home. Here are a bunch of people who have nothing else to do except maybe work from home, and we have a lot more gameplay time. That was something that I was curious about. It kind of came out of the blue, but then again, I suppose everything comes out of the blue.
I mean, we are kind of due another expansion for STO. Just if you look at the intervals between expansions.
Yes. So we had 3 years ago, was it, the Gamma Quadrant expansion came out? Was that 3 years ago or 2 years ago? I want to say that was 3 years ago was the Brushfire arc. What was arc was that? Let me go back. Yes, I know. For those of you who are really good with this stuff, good for you. Was that Future Proof? They keep changing things around. New Frontiers was about 3 years ago. And then 2 years ago was Gamma Quadrant, which was the next really big arc that came out. I don't consider Age of Discovery to be a big arc per se, but I could stand to be corrected on that one. Just because it came out in little drips and drabs here and there. And what's coming out with the Klingon Civil...
Discovery.
Pardon? Was that
kind of like Jaida's Discovery. I mean, Jaida's Discovery is what? Essentially 4 missions and a bunch of patrols?
Yeah. So I don't consider that to be a whole arc in terms of the way they've done these, like Legacy of Romulus, other ones, where it's been kind of a complete thing. Klingon Civil War, they announced at least, was coming out in bits and pieces, and came out with the 2 new episodes so far, which I won't spoil if you haven't played them, but if you haven't played them, go play them. Hi, Pi. I wish the PC had the same UI that Xbox has. I like their LCAR setup. That would be interesting to see.
The automation of certain ability usages on the console. Being able to say, hey, you shield heal, autocast at 25% shields.
I'd like to see it. I don't know. But getting back to Year of Klingon here. So if you haven't played any of the new stuff, whether it's the new intro arc or the 2 new missions or, the TFOs, I'm going to kind of hedge on the TFOs because they're just pieces from the new missions. Definitely very interesting. So, Captain Darling, I think so many games missed the COVID boat. They really could have grown if they gave away premium time, etc. It's a great time, to test out stuff. You've got people who are willing to play who may not have anything else to do. And if you are promoting the daylights out of your game, this is the time when people might join and stick with it. And even if they don't stick with it, what the heck? You've got them there now. So, any thoughts about Klingon-ishness that you have seen or would like to see with this big story arc? Where do you think they're going to go with it?
You think that they'll remove our current Klingon government once again?
Again, okay, really quick. Everybody out there in chat, have you played the news stories? Really quick vote, because I don't want to do any spoilers.
Sorry. Because how it is story revamps.
Pie's done it, Taco Pita's done it, Bacon Overlord's done this. Good. I want you guys to, speak up in this stuff. Let me know what you're thinking. Wow, I have no idea where they're going to go with this. We're currently, as Klingons, I'll jump down here and visit you. We are, all of a sudden ostracized. Oh, Mr. Dave, you haven't played it yet?
No, like I said, I'm a casual player, so...
Okay.
But,
Mr. Dave, it's freaking amazing what happens. It's one of those... Okay, the first one's pretty okay. You get down to, hey, what the heck? You guys want to play it really quick?
Sure.
Anybody want to join me to run this as a really quick mission? We can go play the 2 arcs and we can talk about it while we're doing it. Bacon Overlord says, I'm curious if Martok is going to end up as the Chancellor. Me too. Me too. Wouldn't that be
I think
fun?
that Jaula is more likely.
Could be, but that means they have to bring in Jaula as a character long term rather than as kind of not a character long term.
Yeah, but given that the entire Star Trek franchise is currently in your hands, that would be the long-term viable option. Moving it to the new cast of the new show, rather than keeping the old cast from the no longer supported show.
You're breaking up a little bit, Rasul.
Sorry,
okay.
Let me fix that.
It's not your fault. I just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, I think that moving to the cast from the new show and the new management for Star Trek is, in long term, probably the viable option. Keeping the cast from the old show, the classic Star Trek stuff, TNG, etc., while definitely dear to my heart, I don't think that it's long term viable for commercial reasons.
Oh, definitely, yeah, absolutely. And I think the better their relationship with CBS and the production companies, the better the chance we're going to have better content. Pi says, I like more dialogue they put in.
Which is why I think Jaula is the most likely candidate.
Yeah, but Jaula is she part of the CBS franchise? Because I know she's from the comic books.
She is.
She is, okay. All right. Hey,
Pretty sure she is.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know. I'm sure it's been authorized, but I don't know if they've got the rights to her versus, obviously, Cryptic has the rights to use her. Okay. So, does anybody want to run this with me? Just to go through it and see how it's going?
I would be up for that, but fed.
Oh, that's right, you're fed. Fine. Let me go find a different tune. Yeah, we have to run this on Fed, folks, if you're going to jump in and join us. This was not the game plan, but, it's such an awesome one. I'm going to grab Kethma, because she's my original tune. Let's give a little perk. Okay. Pi will join us later. Anybody else up for this? All right. Shall we...
Yep, I already transferred to the center cannot hold.
Stop being that way. Stop being awesome.
Nope.
Center cannot hold. I haven't even done the other one on this tune, which is weird. Go.
Well, we'll fix it in a moment.
I've been busy. I'm
not saying that you don't have a good reason, but I'm saying fix it. Though, to be honest, I'm currently got one tune.
That's true.
So I have a bit easier time getting it done on all my tunes.
Yeah. For me, doing it on 16 tunes gets challenging on a time frame with work, with everything that's going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Now, I've noticed that they've added Martok doing some of the voiceovers, which used to be Worf, but I'm so glad they haven't gotten rid of Leonard Nimoy doing the voiceovers for the Federation side of a lot of this, because it's...
Yeah, I don't think they will get rid of that.
I hope
At least not anytime soon.
Shall we launch?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Do you want another one of your tunes along, or are you good?
I don't mind.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, for this one it doesn't really. So for those of you who haven't seen this yet, here we go. This is the first of the two, and I will say I like the second one a little bit better. Nothing personal. Let me just make sure we're in record. We are in record, very important, because this way I don't have to do this later. All right.
I'm actually letting you set the pace.
Okay. If you'd like to start talking with other people, that would be fine. There's dialogue here. I'm going to let you all enjoy the dialogue for this one at your own speed. Because there's a lot of dialogue. But this is all expository stuff.
Yeah, it's essentially word of text after word of text, with a side of word of text mixed in.
Yes. If you've been playing the story up till now, you don't need this stuff. Are you talking to Jim Pock up there?
Or do you want to talk with the
No, you
boss?
talk with Jimpok.
F-bombed.
Yes. Yes, we have renames. Bamming the F key as F-bombing, so much more fun. I am going to let the cutscenes run, though. Since I think the cutscenes have been excellent. Which you will see tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Is there a Martok set for this one? Can't remember what the prizes are here.
The House Martok set is a different mission.
Yeah, that's Brushfire for the House Martok. One of my favorites.
For most of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's one other mission for parts of it.
The council recognizes the leader of House Mokai. Speak.
This is the reskinned Jimpok.
Klingons, warriors of the great houses, in the name of Kalis and of Takuvma, hear me now. You know my name. You know my house and what it has done for the Empire. And today, I come before you with the truth.
Oh yes, Captain Darling. There's definitely a set that's out of this one.
And a liar. He stole his title. He claimed it after winning a duel to the death with Martok. And yet Martok, the true Chancellor, still lives. But Jimpok's dishonor doesn't end there. When the Herc returned, he hid from our greatest enemy like a craven fakir. Once my brother led the Empire to glory. We had the Federation on their knees. And now we build ships with them. These stains on our honor must be cleansed. Let us bring an end to Jimpok's reign.
You dare to speak of honor here? You, unknown traitor to the Empire? The only thing ending today is
Yes.
you,
Don't defend yourself, just attack the other side.
Death to Jimpok! Kapow!
I mean, she had a point, didn't she?
Yeah, she definitely has a point. Definitely has a point, but it's not what you're thinking of. All right, so here we go. Ground battle.
Yep, let's nuke everything, because...
Though I have to say, there's a couple good things in here. Admittedly, we get to just shoot up the Mokai warriors, blah, 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 blah. And then we've got the ninjas. With nice sword weapons. Ooh, I want one of those. Excuse me, I have to resuscitate my guy here.
Yeah, I'm cheating. Mine revives himself. Oh. Not a fan of that one.
This battle is all but won. Fight on for the Empire! Come here. There are things we need to discuss.
What's the passion called again? What's the mission called again? This one is The Center Cannot Hold.
So much for diplomacy. I had a feeling that Jaula would attack. I admit surprise at the number of allies he had at his side, however. Jimpok will demand swift retribution on Jaula and any house that stood with her today. I suspect my days of neutrality will be coming to an end soon.
All right, let's beam out. So Martok is now in a position of... Yeah. He did...
I am Captain. We were ambushed by good.
A very accurate description.
Yeah. Help them. Take my position. Be honorable. Yeah, what am I gonna do? By the way, for those of you who haven't played this, this is one of the new TFOs. I think this one is... Which one is this? Cedia? Yeah, this will be Cedia. And we are playing on easy because what the heck.
There is no easy mode, there's only normal. But it's normal for the game to be easy, so it's fine.
Hello, Ed
Hi,
is
Ed.
back.
Hi, Phoenix
Yes.
Blue. How are you doing? So, we were talking about the new Klingon arc, and we decided, since not everybody's seen it, to go ahead and play The Center Cannot Hold. Because, you know, wasn't in the game plan, but I'm nothing if not flexible. Well, probably not as flexible as I used to be, since I haven't worked out in 6 months now. Paying for a gym membership and not going does not keep you in shape. Though it does keep your wallet nice and thin.
I'm not sure that's a desirable goal.
No, it was not the intended goal. Survive the rebel attack. Yeah.
Poor rebels.
So, does all this mass killing of non-real entities make us more cavalier about pain and suffering in real life? This is a question that's been coming up very frequently. Do people who play video games that involve this kind of pew-pew become desensitized to real violence?
I would say to the concept of violence, yes. To the reality of violence, no.
Actually, it doesn't seem to affect them when looked at it from a psychological point of view. People are able to, for the most part, dissociate. This is a game, this isn't real life. And if you were a tender-hearted so-and-so like I am, you still are. You're not any more or less aware of it.
Yeah, but what I meant is they're more likely to push the button. They're no more or less likely to actually kill someone in person.
Right.
But they're more likely to push the let's launch a missile button.
That hasn't been shown to be true yet. Maybe, though, because it's really hard to test people out on that one without mass destruction.
Yeah, because this is like press that button. Okay, it's a game and whatever. But yeah, I think
I think from my point of view, I know this is a game, and when I'm dealing with stuff in real life, I know that's a real person, even if they're on the other side of the computer, which makes it one reason why I do not make, I won't say that word, trolling and posting of bad things about people something I do, because I know there's a real person on the other side, which doesn't mean I don't do it. I will post a negative thing about somebody, but I don't go out and ghost them. I don't go out and be evil to them because I can be from being anonymous. Maybe that's just because I'm an older person and have that point of view.
I totally agree with that, but on different reasoning. I'm not doing it because there's another person. I'm doing it because I wouldn't want it done to me.
That's a whole different thing, yeah. And I don't disagree with you on that.
This is command that.
Here they come, and they're locked and loaded.
Yes, Star Trek Online. This is where we talk about philosophy, psychology, mores, morality.
I mean, that is kind of the entirety of TNG, isn't it?
It is. Well, actually, of STO. It's...
Not so much STO.
Not STO, I mean Star Trek in general.
Yeah.
Came out as an opportunity to discuss what's going on in the world in terms of the future.
More virus.
What do we do when we see this in other cultures? Do we go back and look at ourselves? Or can we?
Do we go back in time and change it? Again.
Well, I just enjoy
Pew pew.
the way to just be away from reality a bit.
That's true.
Yep. That's the majority of why I'm
Sit
playing
there,
it.
have fun, hurt no one, and yeah.
Nobody else? Come on.
I mean, STO for me is definitely an escape from real life, more or less. A break from real life, at least.
Captain Darling says, I think games and the internet have promoted love across borders. Now it's not just the media and propaganda. We actually know people aren't like what they say in those places now. So true. So true.
Well, and then there's America.
Hey, that's not true. Don't paint us with a big paintbrush necessarily.
I only paid half of you, okay?
Just paint the media, because here I am. Somebody yesterday
Filter
was
bubble.
yeah.
You always get the bad news from foreign countries.
Yeah.
Not the real life, cause real life is not so interesting, does not get any attention and the like. And
Real life doesn't sell, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Real life doesn't sell.
yeah, reality is way too boring to be sold. Yes.
Unless you call it Big Brother, then it suddenly sells.
Okay. There you have amateur actors, full-time amateur actors.
More like victims, but yeah.
America is not what. Well, I have to say I don't follow the media, so I have no idea what they say America is. But I'm living in a fairly major town, where, for the most part, I have a very large multinational, multicultural area that I live in and work in, and almost everybody's nice and polite and respectful, and understands that we're all going through some bad times and more helpful than harmful. And that's probably 99% of the people I meet.
Yeah, if you look at the media and the stuff that you see, at least here in Germany about America, then stuff like flat earthers,
Oh, God, please. Okay.
they seem to make up a significant portion of the American population. I'm pretty sure that's not the case, but that's kind of the impression you get from over here.
Well, I saw an interesting report yesterday that said if you interview Americans, 60% of them have not always believed the Earth is round. Okay, that's true.
60.
I was
Yeah.
a child once, and I thought the Earth was flat, and my mother said, "Nope, it's round. Here's a globe. Let me show you." Oh, that's really cool. So yes, at one point I believed the Earth was flat, but I was 3. Gosh darn it! But to be honest, yes, I believed it once. I don't think
And
that's
by
what
the
they
way,
mean.
maybe we do not have the flat earthers, but we have the tinfoil hat people.
Oh God, yes. Yeah, we have them
It's,
too. And I thought
Yeah,
you guys had a
conspiracy theories.
much better education over there than we did, and still it's... What the heck? Especially in the UK, a lot of these flat earthers, conspiracy things. I gotta say, we don't have a great education system.
I would say delusions know no borders. They know no nations.
Oh, they know them quite well. They just don't realize they exist outside of the brain.
Delusions. I speak about delusions, not about the people suffering from
Yeah.
them. It's you can be silly wherever you want, and every nation is entitled to their share of silly people.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and usually it's not a problem until they put them in charge.
Or till they get a YouTube channel, and then it's just like, oh, please. Please.
Yeah, but YouTube channels you
the
can ignore.
self-proclaimed authorities for everything. Now
Yeah.
back to something more entertaining. What are you doing at this moment?
Hey, what's really
Killing stuff.
Yeah, we're just killing stuff. Captain Darling, what's really interesting is that most of the founding fathers of the U.S. actually were not strict religionists. That's an interpretation that's growing these days, I'm sorry to say. But they tried to dissociate to a degree the development of the country's infrastructure without a strong attachment to a church.
Yeah, I wish we had more separation here in Germany.
Yeah. Yeah, I was floored when my sister, who lives in Switzerland, said 10% of her income goes to the church. And
That's actually just an arrangement they made for ease of kind of the bureaucracy of it. That's actually not managed by the state. It's just integrated into the process the state already does, and the church actually pays the state for that. So
But you shouldn't have any of your money taken out to go to the church unless you want it to.
you don't have
that
to.
is-
You can leave the church.
Well, she was never in the church. It took her a huge amount of time to get that separated. She was floored. She's like, My family is the most weird when it comes to religion. My parents weren't religious. My grandparents on one side were deeply religious, and most of their kids are deeply religious. And then, of course, my sister wound up being a minister, so go figure that one out. But we're supposed to be playing Klingons. Or fighting Klingons in this case. Oh, the flat Earth
Same
belief?
difference.
Oh my god, flat Earth.
I mean, we're seeing it right in front of us. It's a big disc, isn't it?
Only in Terry Pratchett novels.
I'm pretty sure every Klingon has a sincere belief in blood wine.
Hey, that's what we need. We need to have a whole story arc about a Klingon culture that believes the Klingon world is flat.
No, please, no.
Wouldn't that be great?
Make it a Vulcan.
Ooh. Yeah, flat Earth belief is just ludicrous.
And if you're really nasty, put them into a subspace fold or whatever, where they actually live on a flat Earth.
Oh, I wish we had the Foundry back. Wouldn't that be fun?
Separated from the rest of Vulcan people for almost as long as Romulans, and absolutely convinced that all planets are definitely disks, because they have to be. It's obvious, isn't it?
Yes. I apologize, Captain Darling. I didn't realize you were just talking about flat Earth, so... Then take my comments with a grain of salt.
Are you saying you're salty?
I am salty, but not... You know, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. When I've misunderstood things, it's easier to apologize. What is so hard about apologizing?
It takes 5 seconds.
It takes 5 seconds. It took me longer than that to be an idiot and be wrong.
Yeah, but you already done the being wrong part.
Yeah, but you know... If everybody apologized when they were wrong, it wouldn't be such a stigma to be wrong. Of course, you try not to do it. But instead, everybody just... Not everybody. Many people double down and stick with being wrong rather than going, hey, I'm an idiot. Wasn't there some kind of tour-shaped planet on one Voyager episode? I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure it was a tour-shaped planet. I want to say it was a field around a planet.
We got so many weird things in Star Trek over the years. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, sometimes they tried to get the science right, and sometimes it was just cringe fest. Okay, I will say this is a fairly long battle here.
Yep.
Wish we could F through the battles sometimes like we can through the dialogue, because in this case, it's the dialogue and the skins that I think are really, really well done.
I mean, this is a fun battle.
Oh, it is. Nothing wrong with battle at all. The Donut Planet. Let's see. What's a good name for a donut planet?
Depends on what you are. Sometimes the best name is dinner.
Yes. Hey, they have a donut shop out here in Indianapolis called Dragons and Donuts, where you can go in, order some really, really good donuts, bring your D&D set, bring your board games, whatever, and camp out and play games while eating donuts and coffee.
Could we please get a stable portal here somewhere nearby? I wanna come and visit.
You're more than welcome to come and visit. I have a spare bedroom. I just don't have a spare bed. So bring an air mattress and that's your bedroom. Yeah, I was thinking of the same one, Captain Darling, where there was the time differential. Did we get
You mean the one with the power plant, or...?
power plant?
No. Nah. That was an earlier plant, where they blew up the power plant and then fixed it.
I know which one you're talking about. It's not that one. Voyager gets trapped in a field around a planet, And they realize that there's a time differential between the planet and the Voyager. So on Voyager, a day passes, on the planet, decades, millennia passes. And they start to worship
Words of Ja'ula have served the Empire well. It appears
Voyager because it's a star that's up there. It's a constant. They see it all the time. And so as they're evolving, Voyager is a constant, but Voyager is just seeing time pass very slowly. This has happened on, I want to say there is a story similar to this. It's not George R.R. Martin's Sand Kings. It might be an old Asimov one, where he had created a race of beings that lived and evolved at a much faster time rate than humans did, and he was able to mold their culture. It might have been Sand Kings, for that matter.
Wasn't that the people living on the surface of a neutron star or something?
That's another one, yeah. There are several stories on that where we're looking at time differential as being part of the plot line. But yeah, definitely Voyager did that same one. Okay, so everybody got to just see the first episode of the new arc. So you can see where the plot line is going, where we're getting to see Martok put back into a position where it might be Martok versus Jimpak for the Chancellor, and it gets covered in the second story a little bit better with some superb effects. And I think we actually might have, I don't know, we've only got about 15 minutes left here in this arc.
In my opinion, it's actually a three-way. Because Ja'ula isn't exactly happy about Jimpak.
No, but she wants Martok to be the ruler, so she's going to support Martok if Martok decides to go for it. But at the moment, Martok has not made that commitment. And at the moment, you have made a commitment, but that's going to change. Whether you want it to or not.
Yeah. The player isn't really getting asked what they want to do.
Yeah, no, you're getting dragged along on this one.
My opinion, audience would be worst script writers.
Yes, and case in point, there is the last Star Wars movie, which was written as much for fan service as for anything else, and became silly and pointless and didn't tell a good story because
You don't write a story for fan service. You sprinkle a little bit of fan service as nice spice on top of a story.
Okay, so
But you don't build it around fan service.
well, so that first episode, the one we just played, is definitely more of the fan service portion. We get to see Ja'ula brought into it, but we get to see what the mission is not that different. It's one of our basic missions. We set up a story, and we have some pew-pew. It's the second episode that gets really fun, and the storyline is going to change in a way we didn't plan it changing. Okay, so can we cover that one in 17 minutes? Do you think that's enough time? I don't know how long that mission took us. Well,
I think it might be a bit tight.
yeah, hang on a second here. Logs. Captain's log. That took us... Oh, good, it didn't tell me how long that took. 10:40, it just tells me my ending time. Gosh darn it. That took us 22 minutes, so that's going to push us way into our next arc, which is a game. So, Renegades and their new fan stuff. I don't know that, Captain Darling. Mr. Dave, let's toy with Ferengi and Klingons. Well, we did a nice Ferengi arc. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, there aren't that many Ferengi arcs. I mean, we get to kill one.
Well, we got the Gamma Quadrant, which definitely covered both Jemmy's, Ferengis, DS9. And let's be honest, the Gamma Quadrant arc, Victory is Life, was DS9 Season 8. Hey, they didn't want to do it on TV, so we did it for them. Excuse me, Star Trek Online did it for them. If a Ferengi and a Klingon got together and mated, would they have head ridges or lobes?
Yes.
Yes. As somebody once said to me when I was pregnant, is it a boy or a girl? Oh, God, I hope so.
I want 3 children, one of each.
Exactly. Yeah, Star Trek Renegades. I have not seen that. Is it a video? Is it a online series? Is it a game? YouTube. I will watch it one day. Currently, and this has been my life for the last several years. Get up, Star Trek Online. Go to work, come home, Star Trek Online. Home stuff, Star Trek Online. That has been my life for several years. But I will go watch it then.
After all, you raised at least one son and a husband, so everything is nice.
Yes, and multiple dogs over the years. As I've told people, when the winter event started, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, my dog could no longer come upstairs, so I moved my entire computer system downstairs so I could play while she was there on the ground floor of the house, figuring, she was only going to be with us a few more weeks, and she lasted 3 more years. So I spent 3 years of my life playing Star Trek with my right hand, petting my dog with my left hand while sitting on the floor. So, yeah, Star Trek has been as consistent in my life as my doggos have been. But we're talking about the Klingon story. So, we've set up the first story there. For those of you who haven't played the second story, all I can tell you is it's not the typical story. It's going to throw a wrench and a spanner in the works towards the end of it, and that really leaves us hanging for where we're going to go. And I don't know when Go ahead.
More like an entire toolkit into the works.
Yeah, and we should play that at some point. But with it taking about 25 minutes, I don't want to do that because we do have a game we're going to play next. So where would you guys like to see the story go? Because that's where I think, even though it shouldn't be fan-directed, but at the same time, for those of you who have played it and know that it's going to change, what do you think is going to change? How are we going to work this out? Are we going to see this just kind of fade into the background, or does it make a big change moving forward? Because if we see a big change moving forward, let's say Martok does become Chancellor, what do they do with all the Jimpucks that are in previous portions? Do they stay there? Do they go away? Does Martok take over, and that's why we're starting to hear his voice a lot? What is going to happen?
I'm currently seeing 2 options.
Mm-hmm.
We're either getting Martok, in which case I think it's staying somewhat in the background. The Empire will open up a little bit more, will integrate a little bit more into the Alliance, but mostly it's minor changes.
Okay.
They're essentially being brought up to the same level as the Federation, and that's about it. In terms of content, gameplay, whatever. But if instead of Martok we see Jaula take charge, then we could actually see a renaissance in Klingon society as well, where she brings back some of those more traditional values, without making them contrary to the Alliance and Federation and creating a new war. Just bringing essentially tradition back as something that is to be valued, but not something that it has to dictate how the Klingons interact with the rest of the galaxy.
Yeah. But here's the question. Since this is being spoken of as a civil wars that divide countries, or in this case planets, leave long-term lasting divisions that, it's been over a century since the end of the American Civil War, and there is still a huge divide between North and South. It's sometimes tacit, it's not spoken of openly, but it is different when you go to the South than when you're in the North. And we don't hear open hatred of the North, and when we're up north, we don't hear open hatred of the South. But it definitely colors people's perception of the other part of the country, whichever side you're on.
I mean, we still got that with Romulans, if you want us to stick to Star Trek.
Okay, Romulans,
We got that entire Romulan Imperial stuff still going on in the background. I mean, it kind of fell out when we finally got rid of our dear Empress. Again, and again, and again, and then finally caught her again and put her in prison. Again. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure she actually will stay in prison.
Yeah, somebody's suggesting that maybe they'll kill her off. I don't think so. I think she's an important story resource.
I mean, they tried how many times?
Hasn't worked yet, yeah.
Well, Sela is known to survive anything.
Yes, Sela. Lita survived.
That's what it's kind of a plot armor.
Yes. Lita has survived being killed how many times on Terek, or almost killed on Terek, and blowing her ship out of the Badlands, and how many times have we seen her die?
Well seen. Sela is actually a very reasonable and decent leader.
She's competent.
Say?
She's competent, but also freaking annoying.
Yeah. How many times have we gone, shut up, Leela? Shut up, Lita. Shut up. Many times.
Yeah.
Sela, they left a great story arc that they didn't finish up on, and that's when she's in prison, and someone who looks like Data or possibly B4 goes walking towards her, and we never see it happen.
Yeah.
It's that kind of teaser that can last for 1 or 2 years.
Or more.
Oh, it's still out there.
Yeah, and given the longevity of an average Romulan, I would say Sela will be there in game year 2300. Of course. Yeah.
I mean, she was experimented on by how many different species?
Oh, yeah. She lies with whoever's going to serve her needs and get her desires met. But now that the Iconian War has concluded,
After she started it?
after she started it, no questions there. But does she still want vengeance, or do we have to see her coming back in?
Actually, I think she got over that part.
I think so too.
But she still wants to unify the Romulans under her banner, even though she is not really a Romulan herself. But whatever.
So does that?
She's half Romulan.
Yeah, she's half Romulan.
And human mother, Romulan father, grown up in a Romulan household, and
Well, she definitely sees herself as being Romulan.
she is as Romulan as everybody can be.
Yeah, but she is not beyond taking advantage of any potential ally she sees. Do we see her stepping into this Klingon division in any way? Could that be one way they bring her back into the story? Do we see Lita coming into the story that way? Do we see Tilly coming into the story? Or what's her name?
Tilly, I would expect.
That could be fun. I would really love to see... I'd love to see Tilly and Lita, but...
I mean, when Tilly left Pavo, essentially she kind of promised us to mess up the next big thing.
Yeah, and I'd love to see her come back for that.
Ooh. I really hope we don't get to see Tilly actually support part of the Klingon Empire.
Wouldn't that be interesting, though?
It would, but it would also be freaking annoying because just imagine what kind of tech we would be facing.
Yes.
We already have the Klingons use the go away button.
Yeah, that would be something I'd love to see go away. Is the what is it? Viral impulse? That one?
I think, yeah.
Trooper says, Sela reflects the actress. Crosby follows obvious route to the money. Sela follows the obvious route to political power. Well, yeah, actors and actresses have to follow the route to money because that's how they live.
That's kind of how the job works.
Oh, Trooper says, oh God, Mirror Tilly and Akar.
Poor Kai, finally. Because Mirror Tilly definitely will find a way to, have a valid excuse to kill him, and
yeah, but not till she utilizes.
That's how Mirror Universe works.
Let's think about
this. I don't think she needs an excuse. She just needs opportunity.
Yeah, Mirror Tilly and Akar versus versus Martok and Ja'ula. How is that for awesome? I mean,
while supporting Jim-Pok, yes.
Yes, well, if Akar is can't be supporting Ja'ula now. So is Akar going to support Jim-Pok?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got.
My opinion, Akar's following his own agenda.
Ooh.
Yeah, but taking advantage of Jim-Pok's situation in order to build up his side.
Yeah, that actually makes perfect sense.
Kind of mutual beneficial deal.
Trooper,
you give me those 5 planets
with Jim-Pok. Just then it would be just a matter of time when Akan would decide it appropriate to get rid of Jim-Pok.
Hey, can everyone hang on for just 1 second? Captain Darling is having a sound issue. What sound issue are you having, Captain Darling? Because if people can't hear us, let me know right now, and then we can fix that. I hope. Theoretically, we can fix that.
Oh, there was a block about Akar going to Jim-Pok?
That's interesting. Pi, if you're there, good morning, Saren. Pi, if you're there, can you give Trooper permission to post a link? I think he's going to post the link to the blog. And thank you, Pi, for being there. I really appreciate it because God knows the tech side of this is beyond me.
Yeah. I just listened into our stream and had trouble.
Okay. Der Physiker 8472 is not having sound issues. Thank you. If you guys have any sound problems, let me know at any time. Yeah, I actually don't read the blogs per se because, once again, no time. No time. Add to that, I'm having no end of vision problems, so reading has become a challenge, and with it being almost impossible to see an eye doctor right now, it'll have to wait for a while. It's absolutely ridiculous. They want you to wear a mask and wash your hands and use sanitizer and then wash out your mouth because they're going to be close to your mouth. And you know what? I'll just wait. I'm happy to read it out if somebody posts it or lets me know where the link is. Under Jaula, you could see the KDF lead. Hey, Trooper, whisper it to me. And I'll post it. And then I'll read it out. Ooh, actually, we're going to change out of here in a minute. But yeah, go ahead and post that to me, and we'll get a little bit of a late start on Epic or Epic Fail.
Yeah, I think I'm going to step out for the next panel.
No problem. We will be on until 6 tonight, and then back 8 till I fall asleep for the KPR dance party.
6 tonight means how many hours from now?
7 hours from now. So we'll be on for the next 7 hours and 4 minutes. Thank you, Trooper. Okay. Here's the link. I'm going to go to it. And let's see how long this is. It'll take 3 minutes at least. This was not a warning klaxon that Jim Pock had ever heard. He believed he knew every inch of his flagship, the IKS Christock, had heard every sound it could make, but this was new. Report, he barked. His operations officer, Kalis as blood, what was the man's name again, snarled back at him. Chancellor, it's some kind of virus. The systems are not responding. Our shields are down. What treachery, Jim Pock began, but stopped himself. There was only one person who could be responsible for treachery like this. Jaula was here, at Kittimer, and she had somehow disabled his ship. The mighty Chancellor of the Klingon Empire was stuck, floating in space like a legless targ, waiting for his enemy to strike. In a way, he had known this day would come. Jim Pock had plotted his takeover of the Klingon Empire to the last detail. He had moved every piece into place to remove Martok from power, even going so far as engaging with the utter fool Torg to ensure the job was done. When that simple, easy request had been mangled, when Martok had risen from the grave like some kind of hero of the old stories, Jim Pock had known his time as Chancellor was coming to an end. He did not like the fear that wrapped around his heart like an icy serpent, fear that had driven him to run from combat with the Herc, to ally with the Federation in hopes of increasing his own strength. For months now, Jim Pock had believed that Martok would step into his chambers and challenge him at any moment. But to die here, in the cold of space, from his enemy's trickery, that was almost more than Jim Pock could stand. Prepare for battle, he roared, unsheathing his Diktog, can't say that, and jabbing it into the air. Jaula's starships will be here soon. Chancellor, the operations officer growled. Beam in detected. Jim Pock heard the sound behind him before the man finished. He stood from his chair and spun, expecting an entire cadre of warriors to materialize. Instead, he found himself facing one man, Akar, Jaula's lapdog. The warrior was tall, young, and strong. He was known to be a fierce combatant, a challenge for any warrior, and while it had never been confirmed, there was no mistaking those eyes. Jim Pock had grown up in an empire ruled by a mad tyrant with those same eyes. Whoever this Akar was, he was clearly connected to Gowron by blood. Well, that's good. Jim Pock tightened his grip on his Diktog. This was it, then. Not at the hands of Martok, the man he had failed to kill, or Jaula, the woman he had failed to stop. At the hands of a lackey his story would end. So be it. He was prepared to face his death in a true Klingon way. He steeled himself for Akar's charge. But Akar dropped to one knee. Chancellor, he said, his voice like gravel dipped in honey, I would speak with you. Jimpok's warriors had disruptors trained on the man. He could have killed him in a moment and deal a blow to Ja'ula and her pitiful rebellion. This was clearly some trick, but perhaps one that he could take advantage of. Capture all opportunities, as the Klingon proverb said. And Jimpok had not survived this long as Chancellor without capturing every opportunity that presented itself. He waved his soldiers back. Disarm him, Jimpok said. The warriors stepped forward and removed the Mokai warriors' weapons, and there were many. Akar stayed perfectly still, allowing himself to be searched, but he kept his eyes locked on Jimpok. There is little time, Chancellor, Akar said softly, as if it was only the two of them on the bridge. We have but moments before the greatest opportunity of your reign slips away. Walk with me, Jimpok said. He did not take Akar to his briefing room. There might have been ears or eyes there. Instead, Jimpok took him inside a turbo lift and immediately shut it down. A bold move, Akar said. What assurances do you have that I will not kill Jimpok plunged his diktong into Akar's stomach. The words stopped immediately. You said you were in a hurry, Akar, Jimpok smiled through his teeth. I thought I'd give you some motivation to speak quickly. To his credit, Akar did not flinch. He put a hand on the handle of the wicked-looking knife and smiled. Very good, Chancellor, he coughed. My virus disabled your ship. My men are inside your engineering room. What happens next is up to you. He coughed, and a little bit of blood spat onto Jimpok's arm. The Chancellor resisted the temptation to twist the knife. What are your demands? Jimpok asked. No demands, Akar coughed again, further ruining Jimpok's sleeve. The Klingon physiology would prevent this wound from being fatal for several days. Talking would swiftly become more difficult. Jimpok relished the idea. We have brought you a gift, Akar continued. Ja'ula's weapon is on board your ship and ready for installation. On the planet below are Martok, Ja'ula, and many more enemies of the Empire, all for the taking. He grinned at Jimpok, and there was blood in his teeth. Why would you do this? Jimpok hissed. The pain of the wound was getting stronger, but Akar kept smiling. With the blood already in his teeth, you might have never have known he was wounded. A lesser Klingon would have lost the power to speak already. Despite himself, Jimpok was impressed. Ja'ula, not willing to do what was necessary, Akar managed to spit. You are. Unite all Klingons, with me at your side. With a sharp tug, Jimpok wrenched the knife free from Akar's stomach. He wiped it on a cloth and returned it to its sheath. Then he reactivated the turbolift. Akar did not collapse, as Jimpok might have expected. He stayed perfectly straight, his hands holding the blood inside his body, and stared at the Chancellor with those mad, mad eyes. Jimpok thought for a moment. He had thought this warrior was a snake. Now he knew his suspicions were correct. No doubt Akar was using Jimpok for his own gains. But that was a game that could be played both ways. He pressed a button on the turbolift's communications panel. This is the Chancellor. Medical team to my position, he said. At last, a bit of Akar's bravado faded, and he took a step back to lean against the wall of the turbolift. Then the Chancellor took a step forward, close enough to whisper to Akar. If I do this, no one must know, Jimpok asked. How can this be done? Akar's eyes widened, a look of a madman. For a moment, Jimpok saw not the Mokai warrior, but the haunting visage of Gowron. He knew Akar's words would be treacherous, even dishonorable, but he prepared to listen to them nonetheless. Capture all opportunities. Akar looked at him with a wicked, bloody grin. Kill them all. All right, everybody. So that's what went on. Yeah, we got a good story going on, and that was written by Ambassador Kell. So very, very awesome. All right, let's take a really quick little break here. I'm going to see if I can make my little video run. This will be really interesting because not my forte. Tech is not my forte, guys, if you haven't figured this one out. So, going to turn off our mics here. Hopefully this will run, and we'll be back in just a moment with our next game, which is Epic or Epic Fail. We're going to go through the Star Trek Online story arcs, discuss them briefly, and we're going to vote. Was it an epic or an epic fail? Be right back. Go get yourself something to drink.